the last question that we discussed last week. I mean, not last week. Last time we met on Monday.
I'm really sorry. It closed on me. I hadn't pulled up the right one. I'm sorry.
Okay. Who,
Somebody else.
okay. Who can read that question?
I can.
Okay, go ahead.
So question number 8 says, in what ways does the Islamic civilization in Spain help us to understand the culture of war and Spanish colonial rule? Would you want me to answer it?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So I wrote that the Islamic civilization in Spain helps us understand the culture of war because the foundational ideas behind a culture of war is fighting and consuming one another. In this circumstance, Arab Muslims and Morocco invaded and occupied Spain. The Muslims had forced their way into Spain using violence, and even though they had provided a prosperous time for Spain, they still added on to a culture of war. This probably had a direct result on Spanish colonial rule because attributing the emergence of European and American conquest and colonization to the struggle against Islamic civilization helps to understand the present culture of war.
Okay. Who else?
Professor, may I take a crack at it now? I have it pulled up.
Okay. Go ahead.
Were you asking for number 8 of Hernandez Culture of War and Peace, or for question number 6 of Wolf's Prelude to Expansion?
Yes. That's what we thought. Because we didn't finish.
Question 6 of Prelude to Expansion?
Wait, say that again?
Were you asking for the last question on the Hernandez questions?
Yes. For the last question. Only the last question, yes. Okay.
No, what I mean is, were you asking for the last question of Hernandez or for the last question of Wolf?
No. Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Hernandez.
Hernandez. Okay. Hernandez.
Wait, I'm pretty sure we started Wolf.
Yeah. I think we finished Hernandez. It is
we were finishing the Wolf questions last time.
Yes, Wolf.
Oh, phew, for a moment I thought I was completely out of line. Anyway, how did the unification of Castile and Aragon contributed to make possible the conquest of the so-called New World? I wrote, the pastoral economy in Spain, created through the Reconquista, I hope I'm saying that right, reduced the ability of average citizens to resist the domination of military tribute takers. Warfare and seizure of people and resources became the dominant Castilian method of social reproduction. The conquest of the New World merely represents a continuation of the Reconquista, just in a new setting.
Okay. Who else? What is your name?
My name? Benjamin Stuck.
Benjamin. Okay. Who else?
Professor, this is George.
George, go ahead.
Yes, I wrote the union between Castle and Aragon yoked together, but have a very important partners and often sure of dominance of Castle over Aragon. Then society in retreat.
Who else?
This provides an important role for the noble owners associations, the Mesli, which was able to promote the different interests.
Okay. Who else? Anybody else?
Professor, this is Fauzi.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
So I was saying that because they had unified, they were no longer like kind of hostile toward each other. They weren't fighting for power with each other. So now, once they were unified, they could pool their resources, and really, go on the conquest, like supply the conquest with money and with soldiers. So they were powerful together now that they were unified to conquer the New World.
Yes. Who else?
I can add on to that. So the unification ensured a shift towards a pastoral economy. So then it moved on to like an industrial development. And then, Spain became really wealthy. So then war and seizure was kind of necessary in order to keep bringing in resources into Spain.
Who else?
Professor, I'd like to add a little more what I say. This union combined, they provided a more stronger dominance over what they wanted to conquer, really. So it was actually a stronger bond.
Who else? Okay. The unification of Isabel after they became Isabel la Católica, became the wife of the king of a segment of the population of the segment of the population and the regions into two, and that allow, among other things, that that Spain did not find its own economic development. And after the marriage and the unification, that gave more power and powerful people. And I'm thinking on in the Catholic Church, for example, that was at that time the most powerful, the most powerful institution from an economic perspective. And that allowed them, what all of you say, the conquest, the enrichment of the elite, and change the political, social, economic conditions in many ways. Okay, let's move on. I'm thinking on the name. I forgot the name of what's his name? The king. Can someone say the name of
Ferdinand?
Ferdinand?
Yeah.
Yes. Ferdinand. Yes. Yes. Ferdinando el Católico. Okay. let's move on to the readings of today. Hold on a second. Hernandez, the Spanish world system, and Howardson, pages 122. Okay. Let's start with Hernandez. Who want to start with question 1?
I could do it.
Okay, Sabrina.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
For question 1, why does Hernandez call Spain a paradigm of empire building? I said that he called Spain this due to its ethnic diversity within the nation, which generated strong support for a culture of war. This paradigm also helps understand how Latin American countries emerged from the Spanish and Portuguese empires.
Okay. Who else? Yes. Anybody?
Professor, I pretty much say the same thing like you say. The Spain's internal ethnic diversity, it helps for them to conquer, to look for other horizons, to conquer other lands. So the diversity really helps in the any diversity.
Okay. Who else? Amy Young.
I just wrote ethnic diversities within a nation, which is Spain, generated a strong support for a culture of war. Ethnic community facing a common enemy made a strong bond together, and Spain's history of conquest and colonization demonstrated that ethnic communities joined as a united force when they benefited from subordinating others. And Catholicism played a significant role in bringing all ethnic communities together against their opposing beliefs. Spain's previous history of dealing with internal ethnic diversity has prepared them to handle conquered people more easily. And lastly, ethnic diversity among the colonizers set an example for the conquered people to develop their own peoplehood and culture.
Okay. Who else? Dora Rodas. What do you write?
So pretty much that the ethnic diversity kind of contributed to developing a culture of war, and it helps to explain how the Latin American nations emerged out of the Spain and Portuguese empires.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, Professor.
Yes.
So I pretty much said what they said about the ethnic diversity and how kind of like how Spain is like diverse. Kind of like they said empire building. I kind of thought about the Empire State Building, like New York City, and how we're diverse as well. I mean, it's kind of not related, but yeah, basically ethnic diversity and how they were able to come together against a common enemy. Yeah.
Okay. Who else? What is your name?
Professor?
The person who spoke before.
Fozzie.
Okay. Who else?
May I?
Yes, go ahead.
Sure. The ethnic diversity of the Spanish Empire allowed many nations to grow out of it.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, let me say something about this. Spain was a paradigm of empire building, primarily because they were able to create a economic and social system in the territory based on the encomienda system. The encomienda system was a system in which the king, Fernando de Aragon, that was his name, Fernando de Aragon, Isabel la Católica. The encomienda in Spanish mean what? Who of you who speaks Spanish, encomendar means what?
Does it mean economy?
Who else?
To entrust.
To entrust, yes. To entrust, to give something to somebody to take care of, right? And this system allow, what was this system? This system was the king say to one of the members of the aristocracy, a military, of religious leader, or a member of the nobility. Technically, the land, the new land, the new territory belongs to the king. So he comes and he say, look, I'm going to give you this amount. You're going to go to this place. They are in Spain, of course. You are going to go and in a map wrote you are going to go to this place. They have such and such resources. They have gold there. They have this is good for agriculture. You have he declare the resources available. And you are going to, and what you are going to do is that you are going to take what you need and send what you need to reproduce the condition, whatever they were working with. And what you are going to do, take what you need for reproduce the labor and send the rest for me. And that means he said the rest for the not less than a fourth, el cuarto of the whatever was made in terms of money or gold, exactly. Still today in the Dominican Republic, country like Dominican Republic and other countries, call money el cuarto or los cuartos. Tener cuarto means to have money. It is the way people call money, and that comes from there. The cuarto was not less, it could be more, of course, but not less of a cuarto was to the court, to the queen and king. And that system was implemented throughout all Latin America and gave way to a social structure where the members of the aristocracy would share the resources and the political power according to the importance of those who closer we are closer of the monarchs, of the monarchy. I think we have other question when we get to that we're going to go to that. Okay, who wants to do number 2?
Could I?
Okay, go ahead.
So I believe that the religion acts as like a motivator for them to be aggressive together against opposing beliefs. I'm pretty sure Spain and Portugal are mainly Catholic, so any other belief outside of Catholicism would be deemed as what they said as a satanic pagan or infidel. Oh, also like that that was their way of like prosecuting against other religions as well.
Who else?
Professor, let me try. Let me ask the question. He says number 2. According to Hernandez, what role does religion play for people when confronting aggression? My answer was religion motivated unity in aggression. When any communities perceive opposing beliefs as erroneous or deceitful, that means religion play an important role on uniting people when they had different ideas, of how to deal with the issues they were going through.
Who else?
Yeah, I'd like to add on to what George said. So, like, yeah, it's like people of the same religion can gather together, and they kind of demonize the others, right? It becomes the believers versus the non-believers, right? And it's like you're fighting for your religion, you're fighting for God. Like God is with you, right? And you're going to use the power of God to convert your enemy, or just destroy them. Yeah.
Okay. Who else?
I could go.
Okay, go ahead.
This is Benjamin Burgos, and I just wrote that religion creates a missionary mindset, and the conquerors, which are Spain and Portugal, they wanted to quote unquote like save these individuals who were practicing other beliefs, and they wanted to force them into Catholicism. And I wrote that religion basically like feeds like their fire of aggression and helps them to conquer these lands.
Okay. Who else?
I can add to that.
Okay.
I think religion, in the way that he phrased it, acts as a unification tool for so like the empire is able to gather everybody and be on the same conquest goal, and it kind of acts as a rationalization for invading other cultures because their religion is the correct one, so it has to be the right and only one.
Who else?
Huh? No, you know me.
Hello, Chris. Who else? Well, let me say something about that. The religion in Spain play a major role in the unification. The unification play a role in the trip, Columbus trip to take place. But at the same time, the that unification to a large extent was made possible because of course the economic condition, the economic development, but also because people were the one thing that all the diversity of ethnic groups in Spain have in common was that the religion. People who were oppressed in many groups who were oppressed in Spain, who were discriminated against. All these people who participate in the colonial the conquest. These people thought, well, we have differences, and still in Spain, people are fighting for their.
Huh? I think so.
Some groups are fighting for their to have their own country in liberated Spain. Well, and they reason is that we are we have conflict, internal conflict, but we have something that is common to all of us, and that is sacred. Imagine at that time, that is sacred for everybody, and that is our religion, Christianity. So that's, I think we're going to talk more about that when we discuss in another questionnaire. Okay,
Professor?
who wants to say something?
Professor?
Yes.
So are you saying that religion helped unify the people when confronting enemies?
When confronting the enemies, we have that they have in common. That is, when they send to the new world people who have a contradiction with other Spaniards, with other groups in Spain, they what they reason it was that we have difference with this contradiction with this group that try to exploit the Catalan, for example, that try to exploit us, and but we have less contradiction with these people than those people that we are going to conquest, right? And we have to unite in order to defeat those who we are going to conquest. Right? What I'm saying is that even though these people have contradiction, a history of exploitation and subordination and discrimination, even though that existed, the religion could unite them.
Perpetuate itself?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, let's move on. Who wants to do? Who wants to do number 3?
I tried the professor.
Wait. Who wants to do number?
George.
3? George. Where's that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Number 3 is what factors contributed to Spain's victory over the natives? I chose 3 specific factors. The first one is that they were technology superior to them. They have more technology. The second one was the strength. They were very strong people. And the third one is that they were quick learners. They tend to learn everything fast, quick. But the main one was technology. They have more technology. They have more guns, weapons. So it's helped a lot, on the conquest to the Nazis. Thank you, Professor.
Okay. Who else?
Me,
Oh,
Professor.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry about that, Bobby. So I believe it was the technology, and it was because the Europeans brought over disease to the natives. So essentially, the Europeans were used to measles, swine flu, influenza, and whooping cough, and all these other like ailments. And once they went to the native land, the natives didn't have the antibodies to like survive these diseases. So due to the disease, a large population of the natives died due to it, and they were able to Spain was able to conquer the native people.
Okay. Who else?
May I take
Oh.
Sorry, you first. You want to go first?
Go ahead.
Can I? Okay, thank you. This is Sasha. So I want to add also the Spanish had like other resources such as having whores. That was another advantage compared to the Native American. They didn't have no whores. They just basically had arrows and just had themselves, And I like to add on with George. They also had superior weapon. That was another thing that influenced them having more advantage. And also the Spanish had more allies than ever. So yeah, basically that's it.
Who else? That's Sasha.
So Professor, this is Bobby. So when the Spanish came over in the beginning, right? The natives didn't know about them and they were nice to them. So they let them in their homes and gave them free things. And then the Spanish took advantage of that kindness and like backstabbed them in a way and just start taking over.
Okay. Who else?
Well, I wrote down that the Spaniards had the added advantage of being viewed as deities by the natives due to their ancient religious traditions that a god named, I think, Quetzalcoatl would come and he would be white and bearded. And so they were immediately predisposed to think of the Spanish conquerors as a new god, as their ancient god, like the coming of the Messiah.
Anybody else?
Professor, this is Amy. Just wanted to add on to it. The Spanish, they use a divide and conquer strategy. So they tried to turn natives against each other, and they were successful in conquering the land.
Who else?
I could add on.
Go ahead.
This is Benjamin Burgos, and adding on to like the disease points. Since the diseases were able to spread so quickly, and the natives were preoccupied with dealing with like the death of like a loved one, let's say like a family member or a friend had gotten that disease. Also just like the depression that came over them kind of didn't give them the motivation that they needed to fight, which I feel like added on to the conquest going as smoothly as it did.
Okay. Who else?
Hi, this is Stephanie.
Stephanie, go ahead.
That the natives they saw no value for the land or the gold that was on the land, so they kind of just allowed the Spaniards to just take what they wanted. That gave the Spanish more power.
Yes. Okay. That's very good. Who else?
So this isn't really much of a. I mean, everyone already says something, but I just felt like it was really interesting how this encounter is really similar to the one we discussed, like kind of like in our first lecture when Christopher Columbus came and he met the Taínos, and how they just welcomed him, and he just took advantage of their kindness and just enslaved them and killed them.
Who else? Okay, let me say something about that. You mentioned all the factors that enter into the why, into the answer of why these people, the Spaniards, won the battles, except one, and that is when we talk about the superior weapons, the Spaniards didn't, depending on what natives we are talking about, because they were, of course, different natives. We have the Taínos who welcome the Spaniards on one hand, but in the other hand, you have the Aztecs. And the Aztecs were an empire. They were warrior. And it is not true that no matter how advanced the mosque that the Spaniards brought, I don't know if you have seen the mosque, that's something that you have to, you shoot and then you have to charge it again. And it's a process that takes minutes in order to put it to fight. That's what they have, firearms that they brought. But they at the time they finished that thing, they have like 50 arrows in their body. They didn't. That was not a factor in the defeat of the natives. If we take when the natives, in this case the Aztec, okay, when Columbus arrived, and they in the case of the Taínos, they knew almost since the very beginning that they were going to enslave the Taínos. The Taínos don't resist effectively because the Taínos, they were not they didn't have a culture of war, like as Hernandez said, the culture of war. They were not used to that. The only thing that the Taino have was from time to time when the Caribs Indians raid their communities and take things from them, and they have to fight and defend themselves. But they didn't have that culture of war. Now, it has been proven that most of the weapons that was used to conquest the Aztecs, to defeat the Aztecs, were weapons of other other natives groups that have contradiction with the Aztec, or that have been enslaved by the Aztecs. They when these people arrived, and they saw this city built Tenochtitlan, the capital of the Aztecs. They say when the Spaniards moved there and they saw that, they said this thing have not been, it was the largest city in the world at that time. These people, it was not built by free labor. These people have are slave owners, referring to the Aztecs, and they were right. Cortés, Hernán Cortés, the leader of the Spaniards that went to discover what is today Mexico, and they say wherever there is a slave, then that means they have to be other groups. Remember that the Spaniards who came here were part of the Spain for throughout the 800 years, right? They some of them come with a culture of war, right? Most of them came with a culture of war. They were. It is like if you have, remember the war between Spain and the Moors, the African Moors, the African Moors who control Spain for almost 100 years. They have just finished in the same year. Right? So these people, they were a strategy of it is like when we are children and we grow up playing baseball because that's part of the culture. In the same way, they elaborated some of the people who came with Columbus were adolescent more than men, properly speaking. So they immediately say we have to look for these people who these these people that have been enslaved, that have some grievance with the Aztec, and those we should ally create an alliance with them, and that's the way we're going to defeat, and that's what they did. And most of the people who most of the people who participated, they were in the taking of Tenochtitlan, the invasion of Tenochtitlan by the Spaniards. There were something like 200, 300 Spaniards, and there were close to 10,000 Indians fighting along the Spaniards. So that was one of the elements that allowed that alliance the Spaniards to defeat. That's almost the most important one. Okay, is there anything you want to say? Okay, let's move on. Okay, number 4. Who wants to do number 4?
I can go, Professor. This
Okay,
is Stephanie.
go ahead.
Who were the Aztecs and how was Hernan Cortez able to defeat them? Aztecs, they were a tribe in Mexico with a successful military organization, and Cortez used diplomacy instead of force to gain peaceful entry into the capital city. And then he convinced a large group of native rebels to go against their empire, and together with a small army of Spaniards, they defeated the Aztecs.
Yes. Anybody else? Something that you want to say? Okay, let's move on. The number 5. Who wants to do number 5?
Do that one.
Okay, go ahead.
For number 5, it says, what were the ideas of Jean-Jacques Rousseau in regards to natives and slavery? I said Rousseau believed that native cultures were inferior to that of European civilization, and he denounced the abuse of human rights in conquest and enslavement.
Okay. Who else? Hello. What is your name again?
This was Sabrina.
Sabrina. Listen, let me say something. If I stop writing your name, if you, it's probable that it is because you have answered a lot of time, many times, and I don't have to and already I know that and write that here. Okay. Who else? Who wants to say something about that? Jean-Jacques Rousseau was an Enlightenment member of the Enlightenment movement, and he elaborated the theory that people have been people who are considered to be members of groups or groups that are superior, that are civilized, like Europeans. And he said, no, these people, precisely because they have not formed part of the they're not part of this civilization. They are more prompt to represent a real man, a real it was men. That was the of course we're talking about men and women today, but the discourse was about men. So he Rousseau believed something that later on but will be very popular in Spain and in France, in many parts of Europe, the noble savage. The noble savage, they represent the salvation of the world, precisely because they are that civilization, and they're not part of that civilization who raise a culture of war, etc., etc. Okay. Is there anything you want to say? Okay. Okay, that's wait. What's the number? The next
Number 6, Professor.
Number 6. I'm sorry, number 6. Okay, who wants to do number 6?
Could I go?
Yes, go ahead.
So the encomienda system is the way the Spanish crown was able to reward their own people with power and land in the New World. So these people that were what do you call it? These their own people were given indigenous peoples to work on their lands, and then they were not able to rebel against these Spanish laborers. They're kind of tied to the land.
Okay, who else?
So this is Bobby. So basically, this system is an opportunity that the people can take a risk and move out and go to other places and try and make money out there. But there's a risk because if they don't succeed, they can take it back and then left with nothing.
Okay. Okay, who else?
I can add on to that. I think he compared it to a Monopoly game in the reading, and just like how it was an incentive. It was like a way to incentivize capturing and enslaving people and conquering lands, and they allude to the Latin American countries as well as Africa, and just how like these nations, like the more enslaved Africans you brought into through the Middle Passage, like the more you would be bringing value to Spain.
Okay. Who else?
Professor, this is George.
Okay.
This involved colonizers were able to trade products from one colony to the other, and it involved agriculture, mining, and manufacture.
Okay. Okay. Who else?
Professor, can I add?
Yes, go ahead.
So the encomienda system, it was basically a labor system, and it rewarded conquerors with labor from groups that Spain had conquered, basically, and it gave them benefits, and they got to basically have their own. I mean, I don't want to call them slaves, but like they would help work like how George said, with agriculture and manufacturing.
Okay. Who else?
May I go?
Go ahead.
The economía was a system in which the Spanish government incentivized the conquest of native lands for the sake of gaining wealth and enslaving the natives.
Okay.
Could I add on as well?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this was mentioned. Since there weren't enough like Native Americans to work on the lands, the Spanish conquistadors were able to bring enslaved Africans from the triangle trade from the Middle Passage, to help them on their agriculture, mining, and other like ventures, I guess.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd like to add on. So basically, it was, yeah, like everyone said, it was a reward system that the more the Spanish conquered, the more reward they got, like usually in the form of like land. And the people who lived on the land were obviously the indigenous people, and the indigenous people paid tribute to the Spanish who actually ruled the land. Yep.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, I agree with what you said. The encomienda, I've talked about that before. What the encomienda system, one of the things that you mentioned that is important is that create a kind of division of labor, a division of labor, not only in Latin America, but also in a relationship to other possession of Spain in the East. And that division of labor was necessary for the economic development that the Spaniard, it was a strategy an economic strategy in order to increase the wealth of the monarch and the aristocracy. Okay, who else? Anybody else want to say something? Okay, let's move on. The number
7.
Number 7, yes. Who wants to do number 7? Number 7 says, what was the role of Spain in the colonization of North America? Who wants to answer that? Hello? Dora, what do you think?
So Spain was responsible for a lot of like the not agriculture, but like the cotton fields that were established in North America, which had long effects. So, later on, especially in like the southern part of North America, and just like the slaves that they had, it was highly influential.
Could I add on as well?
Yes.
So the economenderos were able to set up profitable agrarian mining operations in New Mexico and California, and had a long-lasting economic and social effects due to those.
Yes. Who else?
Professor. Go ahead, you can go.
Oh. No, it's okay.
Oh, who's going?
Go ahead.
I don't know who's going to go.
Sabrina.
Okay, thank you. I kind of took to add on to that, I kind of took a different approach. I said that since the Spanish saw themselves as superior to those that they colonized, that they created like a social organization that was based on discrimination and negative stereotypes of others, and because they viewed them as ignorant and immoral. And that still influences the people of like Latin America today, on how they view themselves as in terms of like inferiority to those of European descent.
Who else? Anybody else? Let me yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sabrina made kind of cover what I was gonna say, but it was this attitude that they feel superior to. They feel like the natives were inferior to them. So this attitude that they were superior, that's what it really it play a role on how they conquer, in a way, the natives.
Okay. Anybody else? Listen, the as much as in South America, the Caribbean, the Spaniards conquest of vast region of what is today the United States. The Spaniards built the first cities in North America. The first city in North America were built by Spanish monks, by religious leaders. And the first city, San Agustin, in Florida, was built by San Agustin, by the name. All those cities and all those regions that have a religious name, like the San, for example, it comes from the Spaniards, and there's a lot places in the United States that have that. So the place that Spain conquered in North America was multifaceted and in many ways, and today it's very visible. Okay. Are there any questions you want to say?
I wanted to just add, because I know, didn't they think that like the Fountain of Youth was like located somewhere in Florida? Is that
yes?
Like,
yes.
I know it was like a Spanish conquistador looking for it.
For it, many die looking for the eternal youth fountain, and even looking for the paradise, because they believe, some of them believe, that that if there is a paradise in the world, physically was located in the New World. So they, it's right. If you take I travel throughout the Southwest with a friend of mine. She worked by a very famous magazine at the time and invited me to go there. And we were driving in the desert. The temperature was like 110, 115, something like that. And we were in the middle of nowhere. We were, and suddenly a bar appeared, and I went we stopped. We went to get water to get beer. And I went there. She stayed in the car. And when I entered, there are these people, tall, white, speaking, but they were not speaking English. They were speaking Spanish, but not the Spanish that we speak today, but archaic Spanish, the same way that people have an old English, the same way. And I was listening. Why this word came to my mind, that these people were the descendants of the Spaniards who contribute to build these houses, the first schools, the first everything in those regions. And they gave me I spent too much time, and she went to up to see what happened. And she said, she stopped and she said, is that Spanish that we are that they are speaking? And I said, yes, that's Cervantino. It is called Spanish Cervantino, an old Spanish that you can barely understand what and these were people.
Does it sound like Catalan?
Yes, it's something like that. I mean, the same processes that creating different, yes, the different forms of the Latin language. So and that was the impact was enormous, cultural and physical. Okay, the last question.
Could I answer it?
Yes.
Okay, so the question was, how did Spain divided its empires based on different productions in different regions? So I'm pretty sure they used Philippines for producing rice and tropical crops, and it used as a marketplace for trading with other Asian nations. And I'm pretty sure they use El Salvador and Guatemala for producing indigo for dyeing textiles. They use Honduras for food, and Nicaragua for tobacco.
Mm-hmm. That's the
those I think those were like the nations or countries they conquered, and they divided it into different production areas.
The division of labor is what I was talking about. That's the same thing. Yes. Okay. Who else? Anybody else?
I could go.
Go ahead.
This is Benjamin Burgos, and yeah, basically going off of that same point, Spain had divided its empire into just specific regions, like based upon what they were able to produce. So I had said like they had expected, because like it was there, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico to provide like coffee, sugar, tobacco, and rum, which was very popularized during that time back in Spain.
Okay. Who else? Okay, listen. We have 1 minute. 1 minute. Let's not start this discussion of sin, and we are going to do it faster together with the readings we are going to have on Monday. Okay. their question. I'm going to send you by tomorrow what we are going to do during the next week.
I just have a quick question.
Wait, that what? What do you
No,
say?
I just said I have like one quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
So all of the questionnaires, they're due by the end of the semester, correct? Or are they due at a specific date?
No, you have. I said that on Monday. You can bring it whenever you want to bring it. The last day of class, if you want. If it's more easier for you, right?
Okay, cool.
I'm going. If you have any problem in my other classes, they have some problem with the questionnaires, the submitting the questionnaire. If you have any problem of that, let me know. Send me an email, and I'm going to, if I need to open up so you can try it again, yeah, I will do it.
Okay.
Professor, are you gonna open up another questionnaire for this assignment that was for today?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes.
It will be posted on Blackboard, right, Professor?
Yes, Blackboard.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Professor, so far we have 2 questionnaires.
No, so far we have all the questionnaires that we have used.
Yeah, we only have 2, right? You only assigned 2?
You mean for this class of today?
No, like in total.
No, in total, I have let me see.
She means chapters, Professor, 2 chapters.
Yeah, like since the beginning of class, you only assigned 2 questionnaires, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
That's good.
Professor, I have a quick question. I submitted today 2 questionnaire. It was Eric Wolf and Hernandez. I just want to make sure everything went well.
Okay.
I'm confused.
Okay, you can if you submit it, it's there. Okay, I'm going to. If you want, send me an email tomorrow, and I will tell you. If there's a problem, I'm going to tell you on time so you can do, and you have until the last day of class.
Okay, because I'm not sure we were supposed to submit 4 questionnaire. I just did 2 questionnaires instead of 4 because I'm not sure what's going on. I thought you was gonna open another slot. We can just put it in, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I did. You can put the questionnaire.
Okay. Thank you.
And this is how the system works. You submit, and then you submit because I open it for you. If I see that there was a problem and you cannot submit effectively, I'm going to open it up again so you can submit the questionnaires.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so don't worry. Okay, have a good night, and we see each other.
Goodbye, Professor.
Have a good night, Professor.
Good night.
Good night, Professor.
Thank you.
Take care.